Good afternoon and welcome to our online presentation for our student support services at SRUC Oatridge. My name's Graham West. I'm the recruitment officer for this campus, and today we're going to keep it very informal and let our team introduce themselves and have a chat about their specific areas. So today we have Slava, Janet, Laura, Sue and Sarah, but we'll hear more from them in a moment or two. We'll follow this with a short Q&A, so please do get your questions into the chat area. And remember also, I'll be sending out a recording of the event, so don't worry if you think of something once we are done, just email it to me. So first up, we have Slava Miller.
Hi there, I'm Slava Miller and I cover the pastoral side of support. So I'm a pastoral support tutor here in Oatridge campus. Pastoral support covers quite a holistic approach to support. So I cover the health and mental health of our students as well as well-being. So any students perhaps with any disabilities I would be dealing with, making sure that we discuss any health, any mental health or any difficulties at all. I will put reasonable adjustments in place to allow them perhaps for exams, for any additional time or any requirements that we need for our practical assessments and practical activities. Mental health, again, it's a big, we've got a lot of students coming with anxieties and perhaps mental health difficulties and challenges. There could be a diagnosis from, previous diagnosis or just how they feel. So I'm here to support all the students with regards to mental health, well-being. It's hand in hand coming with the trying to juggle the life outside the college and then starting a college. So it could be challenging for a lot of people. There's different circumstances for different students. So I'm here to make sure that I guide them through and help them with any difficulties they might have. As a pastoral support, I link with other agencies, perhaps a social work, police, NHS, or any other charities that are helping our students to make sure that they are doing well while they're studying with us. I'm a safeguarding officer and also I'm a named person for care experienced people, carers, estranged and veterans or ex-veterans. So if any potential students, I find them in these categories, please get in touch. So what I do again is perhaps arrange a transition visit. So before they start in college, we can discuss it. We can help them in advance to see the campus, talk about the exams and what's going to happen. And again, arrange the personal learning support plan. So in regards to kind of pastoral support, please, later on, if you've got any questions, just post them in a chat or Graham will pass it on to me.
Thank you very much, Slava. And now we have Janet.
Good afternoon. So my name is Janet Hiddleston. I'm the Education Support Officer for, obviously, Oatridge. And my role is kind of split. Sorry, I'm not sure, went to mute there, so I don't know if you're actually hearing me or not, so I'll just introduce myself.
We've got you,
okay.
Janet, yeah.
So my role obviously is split, so obviously for NC, if you're doing an NC qualification, I'm here to support you on a personal support plan. If you have any learning challenges, then we can look at what we can do. That could be a scribe, reader, quiet room. If you have thought you've got dyslexia and have never been tested, we can test you for that as well. For the HE side, so if you're doing HNC, HND, then obviously DSA comes part of that if you have a learning challenge. So DSA is Disability Student Allowance, so that can be for health, mental health or for learning, and what is the government then supply the correct support for you to help support you through your course. Again, that's something that's an individual need, so that's something we would talk privately about. So my role, as I say, is quite diverse. We're here to support all students. It might not be that you've got a learning challenge, but you may have something else and you want that extra support or extra layer of support within academics. So please come and see me. Like Slava, I am one of the safeguarding officers and named person for the campus. but anything at all, please just pass on information and we can discuss in more detail, because everybody is an individual and obviously their circumstances are created and the personal support plan is a bespoke plan to them. Thank you.
Thank you, Janet. Now we have Laura.
Hi, my name is Laura Bremner. I'm a mental health occupational therapist and I provide support at Oatridge campus. Support really looks different for all students, so we do a lot of coping strategies, tools. We'll go over different types of therapy like cognitive behavioural therapy amongst others, and basically just helping you to manage your stress or anything else that's getting in the way of your studies. Everything's confidential. Some students just like to have a safe space to come and have a chat about other things that are going on in their life outside of college. And that's me.
Laura, thank you for that. Now we have Sue.
Hi, I'm Sue and I deal with student funding here at Oatridge campus. So for FE further education students, those doing the NC courses and City and Guilds courses, that would be helping you out with your bursary applications and assessing your bursary applications at the start of the year. For the HE, the higher education students, those doing the HNCs and HNDs and beyond, that would be helping you perhaps find the right funding for yourself through SAS. And then through the year, we also support students with our discretionary fund. So there is also lots of help there. So any funding questions, send them along to me, please.
Thank you very much, Sue. And now, last but not least, we have Sarah.
Hi everyone, so my name is Sarah Young and I am the Careers Advisor at the Oatridge campus. As the Careers Advisor here, I am able to help our students with anything that can be related to either careers, employability or further education. Now what that can look like in a session can very much vary. It can sometimes be a student that's coming to me and knowing exactly where they want to go. Sometimes a student doesn't have a clue where they want to go, and I can help with both ends of the scale and everything in between, essentially. So if you're needing some help developing your career management skills, and that is helping you understand yourself a little bit better, understanding your skill set, your strengths, what you bring to the table essentially, and how to sell those in things like interviews or when you're applying for a job, approaching employers, the list goes on. In those sort of situations, I can help with that. I can also help with the sort of what I would call employability basics, so things like CV guidance, interview skills, doing a job search, networking, everything kind of like that falls into that employability category. I can help with that. But a big part of what I normally do is really genuinely helping students figure out where they want to go. It's a big world out there and it's sometimes hard to navigate and figure out what your next step should look like, could look like, or how you want it to look like. So I can help you with all of that and figure out whether further education is potentially another option for you and what you might want to do. I can also help if, say, for instance, you were to choose a course with ourselves and it doesn't seem to be gelling. I can see if there's other options there for you with us and beyond. So that's kind of me in a nutshell. And if there are any questions, then I'm more than happy to answer those later as well.
That's lovely, Sarah. Thank you very much for that. So we've had a number of questions came in via the registration process, so I'm just going to run through those and I'll try and group them together into subject areas. So I think, Janet, these two are probably for you. One is from Fiona, who has said, I think you mentioned this in your chat, but you can maybe just run over it again. Fiona has dyslexia. She says, I have dyslexia, but this was not diagnosed at school. Can you arrange a test for me and what support is available while I'm at campus?
Yes, we can arrange obviously support, do our own dyslexia test. That will give us a rating of where you are on the level. From that, that will then tell us what percentage of extra time you are entitled to. Obviously, we opened up a personal support plan and we go through individual questions that gives us an overview of what support we can put in place and what strategies we can put. So again, this can be maybe class support, it could be a quiet room, it can be extra time, it can be a reader, scribe or prompt through the exams. But again, the PSP is a bespoke plan to you, and then from the dyslexia report we can adapt it to suit around you and make sure we've got the correct support in place.
Thank you, Janet. And here's one in the same area, I suspect, from Andrew. What support can you provide for me during exams? Because I suffer from anxiety.
Okay, so having anxiety, that crosses into Slava and myself. So what myself and Slava would work together is Slava would open up the personal support plan, and then Slava would feed back information to me. We would then have a quiet room. It might be a room with a few other people in the room, or it could be a room on your own. If you felt that you needed extra time, depending on obviously the challenge that you have, we would then look at what kind of extra time. And if you needed, obviously, maybe somebody in there as a prompt just to help you understand the question in more detail, to take that stress off, then we can do that as well.
Super, thank you very much. A couple I think will be for Sarah. First of all, from Ali, bit of a general one this, Sarah. I have no clue what I want to do as a career yet. Can you still help me?
Yes, so yes, I can help you. I should be able to help you. I kind of touched on it in my intro. So when a student comes to me and they don't have a clue where they want to go, we go through a process of helping to understand what sort of experience they have, what sort of background they have, if they have any particular interests, why they chose the course that they've picked to go on to. Essentially, that's where the career management skills come in, because a big part of that is understanding yourself and understanding your skill set and what you bring to the table. So I would work through that with the student and help them be able to identify it, one, and then once you can identify it, have the confidence to actually believe it and be able to communicate that across. So I would work on that with them and help them navigate that process and help them figure out potentially more about themselves so that they can have a more rounded understanding of what might suit them and where they might want to go. So yeah, I can definitely help this. There's never a problem to matter where you are at.
Okay, here's another one for you, Sarah. Frances is asking, she said that when she was at school, she spoke to somebody from Skills Development Scotland. Do you do the same thing, and how can you help me? So
yes, what I do is very similar to Skills Development in Scotland. It's very similar to what you will have experienced when you've been at school. There may be slight differences. For instance, there's maybe sometimes a little bit more rigidness around what Skills Development Scotland do and the timeline that they have with each individual student. There's not quite the same with myself. You can work with me as often and as regularly as you want to. The sessions can focus on very much what you want them to focus on, but essentially at the heart of it, we're all trained careers advisors, so what you will get will be very similar. It just might differ a little bit because in school they have certain stipulations on how often they can and who they're allowed to see, but that is pretty much the only difference.
Okay, thank you. And here's one from Gordon. I've never written a CV before. Can you give me some help and tips with that?
Yeah, so I can help with CVs. I can help if you have something already in place and you're just looking to amend it to the new career path that you're going forward to. I can also help you with those initial stages of actually creating a CV and working on how you put that down on paper. So yeah, I can help with that.
Lovely, thank you. I think next ones are probably for Slava. First one is from Graham. What support do you provide for care experience students, and is there somebody I can contact?
Hi there. Yeah. So we've got named person for each campus for the whole SRUC. So on each campus, you will have 1 or 2 people that there will be a named person per that particular campus. You can find this information on our website. So if you go on a website and perhaps look at the corporate parenting site, so we've got a leaflet that you will get all the contact numbers as well with the names of the people that you can contact and the emails for them. So each campus slightly differs, but support is very much the same for everyone. As a care experience student, I already mentioned, you know, working with support is really important. You know, it opens a lot of doors and it really helps you perhaps to transition a little bit easier Okay, so we would work with perhaps the carers you have in place, or any adopted family or residency key workers. So again, to make that transition a little bit easier, and we can discuss the support requirements perhaps that you need in. So the named person, myself, I'll just talk about perhaps what will happen in here. I would then make referrals that we need. Perhaps there needs to be a referral for funding, for academic support, for mental health support, or careers. So we can discuss all that. And it's just to get familiar with the place is always a good idea, to perhaps know where you come in and who these people are. So introduce yourself. So the support we've got, there are some residencies. So we've got a residency in here in Oatridge. So perhaps we could look into that if you need to move into residency. We've got funding available for care experience students. And pastoral support, as I mentioned, for us is the regular check-ins. So we can speak either weekly or 2 weekly, whatever suits that particular person, just again to make sure that we can help them with attendance and perhaps just a bit of a reassurance with the course, because some of the students perhaps have not been, with the school or kind of similar setting. So just to get them familiar and put any support that need to be in place for them.
Thank you, Slava. You've been very comprehensive in that answer, and you've answered a couple of questions that one came in from Chloe, who is saying her son suffers with anxiety and could a transition visit be arranged? So you've actually covered that in your previous answer. Similarly, there's one from Ali about talking to a guidance teacher in school, which is kind of the same similar area as Sarah mentioned in the SDS situation at school. So we do have similar services available on campus to help with that. Emma has asked a question. It's kind of a general one, and clearly in this forum we're not going to go into detail, but she said that I have a health issue, so who in the team would I discuss my support with?
Yeah, what happened with the health? I mean, firstly, I would really encourage all the new students while they fill in the forms, just to make sure that they tick the box and they will let us know. So that's the kind of first point of contact that you could do while you're applying for college course. So health issue could be, quite general. We've got people with epilepsy, people with diabetes, or any other health issues, really, that it's important that we know about it so we can then put the reasonable adjustments in place. It's really, some people feel reluctant to perhaps tick the box, but for us it's just the additional support that we provide for you, and perhaps we'll have initial discussion and to how to make it accessible to that particular person. So that's the kind of first point of contact, is the form. Again, once you apply for the course and you have been accepted, there's the second chance that you could again declare disability, and it's not just for the health, it's the same for academic support. This will give us the idea that perhaps we need to contact you and we need to have a chat about what support requirements we can put in place and what support would ideally suit you. As Janet mentioned, everybody's different, so it's a bespoke personal learning support plan for everybody, to make sure that we discuss the reasonable adjustments for your exams, for your practicals, so anything to help you throughout the course. So it is important that we are aware of your health condition, so we can, and also informing staff, so they're aware of if perhaps some emergency contacts, and emergency procedures. As a pastoral support, I will carry out a pastoral health assessment, and it's just to gather information that we need regarding your health and make sure that we've got the emergency procedure in place, just in case.
Super. Slava, thank you very much for that, and thank you everyone for all your questions. Just as a couple of general comments, can I finish by just saying that please tell us if you've got any issues or you need any support, and the best thing to do is to tell us before you come to campus, because that, as Slava has just mentioned, allows us to put adjustments and support in place before we actually start, so you can hit the ground running. The plain fact is, if we don't know, we can't help, and please don't worry, because more than likely 99% of the questions that that people ask us we've had before, so please don't worry about that. So thank you all for attending today. Very much appreciated. We hope you've had some useful information there. Remember, please, I will send out a recording, a YouTube recording of the session, so that if you do think of anything else that you forgot to ask, then it's just dead easy for you to send an email straight back to me, and I'll get an answer from one of the team regarding your particular question. So thank you very much indeed for your attendance today. Enjoy the rest of your day, and we hope to see you soon on campus. Thank you very much.